Hello everyone and welcome back to another video by EonTalk. As always, I'm your host Ian, and today I've got another top Korean movies by genre video. In today's top K movies content, we will be taking a look at the best Korean sci-fi movies. There are various genres available within the category of Korean movies. These range from light-hearted comedies to extremely dark and grimy thrillers. We've covered many different genres before, but today we'll be taking a look and ranking 10 K movies of the SF genre. Sci-fi, or science fiction, is a genre characterized by stories involving conflicts between science and technology, human nature, and social organization in futuristic or fantasy settings. And thus, what this means is that movies on this list will range from space operas to dystopian futures to fantasy creatures based on science, and more. And as always, this list will be ranked based on my personal taste. That being said, let's get right into today's video on Top 10 Korean Sci-Fi Films. Starting off the list, the number 10 film is the 2018 comedic SF film Psychokinesis. Psychokinesis was directed by Yeon Sang-woo, who also directed the amazing zombie flick Train to Busan, and starred Lee Sung-ryung, Shim Eun-kyung, Park Jung-min, Kim Min-jae, and Chung Yu-mi. The film revolves around superpowers, and the synopsis is as follows. Seok-hun, an ordinary bank security guard, experiences a sudden and strange change in his body one day. He gains an astonishing ability known as psychokinesis, which allows him to move objects with his thoughts. Meanwhile, his daughter, Rumi, and their neighbors face a crisis caused by the actions of Min-sik and Hong Sang-moo. Seok-hun, Rumi, and attorney Chung-yeon stand against them, leading to a series of extraordinary events. From being an average person yesterday to possessing superpowers today, Seok-hun's psychokinetic abilities explode into action. Next, the number 9 film is the movie that released on Netflix earlier this year, Chungy. Also directed by Yeon Sang-woo, who directed the number 10 film, Psychokinesis, Chungy saw the likes of the late Kang Soo-yeon, Kim Yeon-ju, and Yoo Kyung-soo. The actress who played the main character of Seo-yeon, Kang Soo-yeon, unfortunately passed away before the release of her final film in May of 2022. After collapsing from cerebral hemorrhage at her home on May 5, 2022, she was transported to a hospital and stayed in the ICU for recovery. Unfortunately, she never awoke from the coma and passed away on May 7, 2022. Rest in peace to Kang Soo-yeon. The synopsis of her final film, Chungy, is as follows. Due to rapid climate change, Earth becomes a wasteland and humanity migrates to a new frontier in space. In the midst of an ongoing civil war, Yoon Jung-hee rises to become a legendary mercenary, leading numerous successful missions. However, after a single mission failure, she falls into a vegetative state, and the weapons manufacturer, Chronoid, takes this opportunity to clone her brain and begins developing the ultimate combat AI mercenary. 35 years later, Chung-hee's daughter, Yoon So-yeon, becomes the head researcher of the Chungy project, dedicated to the development of combat AI. However, despite endless cloning and continuous simulations, progress remains stagnant. In response, Chronoid prepares for another project involving Chungy. Discovering this, So-yeon devises a plan to rescue her mother, Chungy. At number 8, we have the latest film on this list, The Moon. The Moon was directed by Kim Yong-hwa, who's got other films under his name such as the two Along with the Gods movies, Take Off, and 200 Pounds Beauty. The film saw the leads Seo Kyung-gu, Do Kyung-soo, and Kim Hee-hae, and tackles a subgenre of space opera that's uncommon in Korean cinema. The synopsis is as follows. In the year 2029, South Korea's lunar exploration spacecraft, Uriyo, embarks on a journey to the moon. However, a solar storm caused by a solar flare engulfs the spacecraft, leaving only one crew member, Hwang Sun-woo, stranded alone. As the sole survivor, the entire nation hopes for a safe return. However, even with the effort by the Korean government, the Space Center and its director, and the main director of NASA, bringing Sun-woo back proves to be a highly challenging task. As the Space Center director tries to prevent further losses, a fierce battle to survive and bring Sun-woo back home ensues in the isolated void of space. Moving along, at number 7, we have the 2018 film Illang, The Wolf Brigade. Directed by the legendary director Kim Ji-yoon, whose other incredible works include A Bittersweet Life, I Saw the Devil, and the upcoming film Cobweb, Illang, the Wolf Brigade, is set in a dystopian future and is full of action. The synopsis is as follows. In the chaotic year of 2029, after the announcement of the 5-year preparation plan for Korean unification, the two Koreas face economic sanctions and worsening living conditions. During this tumultuous time, an anti-government armed terrorist group called the SEC emerges, prompting the creation of a new presidential police force called the Special Unit to suppress them and take control of the country. As the power struggle intensifies between these formidable institutions, the intelligence agency, the Public Security Department, hatches a plot to eliminate the Special Unit. Amidst this deadly power struggle, rumors circulate about a covert organization within the Special Unit known as Illang, the human-wolf hybrid weapon. The number 6 movie goes to the drama SF film that released a couple years ago, Sobo. This movie was directed by Lee Yong-ju, who directed Architecture 101 and Possessed, and the film featured a cast lineup of Gong Yoo, Park Bo-gum, and Cho Jin. Sobok is the name of the clone that's featured in the film, played by Park Bo-gum, and revolves around the tricky subject of clones and morality. The brief synopsis is as follows. Living a life disconnected from the outside world due to post-traumatic events, former Agent Keon receives an irresistible final offer from the intelligence agency. He is tasked with safely transporting a genetically engineered experimental being named Sobo, created through stem cell cloning and genetic manipulation. However, during the mission, unexpected attacks unfold, forcing Keon and Sobo to embark on a special journey together. Sobo, fascinated by the outside world, and Keon, eager to swiftly complete his final mission, collide with various challenges at every turn. Before moving into the top 5, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to ExpressVPN. If you would like to access more Korean movies through streaming services, I highly suggest using ExpressVPN to connect to servers from other locations and gain access to thousands of more content. By using ExpressVPN, you can bypass geo restrictions, meaning it can be from anywhere around the world and access the Korean and other countries' servers. If you would like to access more Korean content like movies, dramas, and shows, be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using my link in the descriptions or expressvpn.com/EonTalk and get 49% off an annual plan plus 3 extra months for free. Better yet, if you sign up and don't like the service, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning you can cancel anytime within the first 30 days. And now, the top 5. Starting off the top 5, the number 5 movie is another Netflix released film that came out in 2021, Space Sweepers. Space Sweepers was directed by Cho Sung-mi, whose filmography includes A Werewolf Boy and Phantom Detective, and had an A-list cast of Song Joong-ki, Kim Tae-ri, Jin Sung-gyu, and Yoo Hae-jin. As mentioned, the movie released on Netflix, and so it should be easily accessible by everyone around the globe. The synopsis is as follows. In the year 2092, Earth is plagued by sickness, and humanity has found a new home in the UTS, a space satellite orbiting above. Teo, a resourceful pilot who used to be the leader of a space pirate gang, Captain Jang, who's now an engineer, Tiger Park, once a notorious gang leader who's now a mechanic, and the cute combat robot, Bubs, dreams of a better life. Together, they form the crew of the cleaning ship, Victory, scavenging space debris for a living. One day, the crew discovers a hidden humanoid robot named Dorothy within a wrecked spaceship. To secure desperately needed money, the crew plans a risky trade, aiming to exchange Dorothy for a hefty reward. But their dangerous dealings attract unwelcome attention from powerful forces as everyone seeks to possess Dorothy's capabilities. Moving on to the number 4 spot, the number 4 movie goes to the oldest film on this list, Save the Green Planet. Directed by Chang Jun-wan, who directed 1987 When the Day Comes and Hwai, A Monster Boy, starring in Save the Green Planet were Shin Ha-gyun and Baek Yun-sik. The film is now 10 years old, but still is a must-watch of the Korean sci-fi genre nonetheless. The synopsis is as follows. Byung-gu firmly believes that Earth is in imminent danger due to alien beings. He's convinced that unless he meets the Andromeda before the upcoming lunar eclipse, a catastrophic disaster will befall the planet. Byung-gu kidnaps Kang Man-sik, the CEO of a pharmaceutical company he believes to be an alien, demanding that he arrange a meeting with the Andromeda. Meanwhile, the police are on high alert after the kidnapping incident involving Kang Man-sik, who happens to be the son-in-law of the police chief. Detective Chu, who once had a stellar reputation but now deals with corruption cases, accuses Pyong-gu of being the culprit and begins to chase him down to his hideout. Unaware of the real situation, Kang eventually steals information about aliens from Pyong-gu's collection and fabricates a plausible story. The battle of wits ensues as victory depends on who can deceive and outsmart the other. Coming in at number 3 of my list of top Korean SF films is the mystery action that released in 2018, The Witch Part 1: The Subversion. Directed by Park Kun-jung, the director of the films New World, VIP, and most recently, The Child, The Witch Part 1 is a thrilling, action-packed film starring Kim Da-mi, Jo Min-soo, Park Hee-sun, and Choi Woo-shi. You may think that this isn't an SF film when you first watch, but once you learn of what the film is really about and its story, you'll soon realize that it's very heavily science and technology based. The synopsis is as follows. Ji-yoon loses all of her memory after escaping from a mysterious accident 10 years ago. Raised by an elderly couple with no knowledge of her age or name, she grows up as a spirited and cheerful high school girl. One day, in order to support her struggling family, Ji-yoon participates in an audition program. However, right after the show's broadcast, enigmatic figures start appearing before her. Completely unaware of her past connections to them, Ji-yoon becomes entangled in confusion and uncertainty, and their arrival marks a significant turning point in her life, as everything begins to change dramatically. And now, just 2 movies left. The top 2 sci-fi films of Korean cinema. First, the number 2 film goes to the 2013 release film that does everything a SF film should do in the best way possible. Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer was directed by the legendary Bong Joon-ho, and although the film starred Hollywood actors and was released in Hollywood as well, the film was produced and directed by the Korean legend director Bong Joon-ho and also starred Korean legend actor Song Kang-ho. Other cast members of Snowpiercer were Chris Evans, Tilda Swinton, Ko Ah-sung, Ed Harris, John Hurt, Jamie Bell, and more. Those that don't think Snowpiercer is a sci-fi film, I recommend going and watching it again. The synopsis is as follows. In a world where a global climate catastrophe has left the Earth frozen, the surviving remnants of humanity inhabit a train called Snowpiercer, endlessly circling the globe. The train is divided into 2 distinct sections, the impoverished, starving people crowded in the grimy tail section, and the chosen few living a luxurious life of excess, indulging in alcohol and drugs at the opulent front section. For 17 years, Curtis, a young leader from the tail section, has been preparing for a rebellion. He orchestrates a revolt to seize control of the train's engine, liberate the tail section, and ultimately free the entire train from the iron-fisted rule of Wolford, the enigmatic and tyrannical authority residing at the front. As Curtis and the tail section passengers hurtle towards the engine room in a desperate bid for freedom, they encounter unforeseen challenges that lie ahead. And finally, the number 1 Korean sci-fi film. The number 1 spot is the second oldest movie on this list, The Host. As with the previous number 3 film, SF isn't the first genre you think of when thinking of this movie, especially since The Host has so many overlapping genres. However, science fiction is definitely rooted in there. Directed by the genius Bong Joon-ho, whose other masterpieces include Parasite, Mother, and Memories of Murder, The Host starred the leads Song Kang-ho, Byun Hee-bong, Park Hae-il, Bae Do-na, and Ko Ah-sung. The movie surpassed the 10 million box office record, which is an incredible feat in South Korea, and the synopsis is as follows. On a peaceful day by the Han River, Kang-do, a snack booth operator, is jolted awake by his frustrated daughter, Hyun-seo, who's dealing with issues at school and with her family. Suddenly, a monstrous creature emerges from the river, causing chaos and destruction on the once peaceful Han River Park. Amidst the city's paralysis, Kang-do's family embarks on a determined and perilous journey to find Hyun-seo, who has been kidnapped by the mysterious creature. Their search takes them to the dangerous restricted zone along the Han River, facing challenges and uncertainty along the way. And that's it for today's video on top Korean SF movies. Some films that you believe should have made it on this list may not have been included. but please remember that this list was based on my personal recommendations. Nonetheless, I'd love to hear what movies you believe are deserving of the title Top Korean Sci-Fi Movies, as well as films on this list that you've seen and enjoyed, so please leave a comment or join in on the discussions of the EonTalk Telegram group, linked in the descriptions. If you enjoyed this video and would like more similar content, be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using my link to access more Korean movies and dramas. Once again, thank you to everyone that watched till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.